It's been 3 months today. Today marks 3 months since the breakup. And I guess my first steps on this journey on the path to recovery. First, even realizing that I had an addiction, that I had a problem, that I had issues. You know, and then dealing with the emotions, grieving the loss of a relationship, so many things, so many concepts, so many different ideas I have uncovered in the last almost, I guess, 60 days. And it hasn't been easy. We, thank goodness, have maintained physical no contact for 3 months. We have had a couple instances of texting or calling, but no physical contact for 3 months. Which, if any of you guys are dealing with a love addiction, a codependency recovery situation, or any addiction, it's the same type of thing with alcohol or cocaine or anything else. There's something about really realizing that going cold turkey or resisting the temptation for your fix, whatever that may be. Mine happened to be a woman. Is the way to go, because opening the crack just a bit, trying to tell yourself that you can deal with it, or hey, you're gonna have a small dose of whatever it may be. Oftentimes, almost, well, in my case, every time just leads to more drama, more pain, you going back to a place that wasn't working, right? So there's a reason why you're here, why you're watching this video, So there's a lot of things that have helped me along the journey so far, and if anyone's interested, just message me or put in the comments, and I'll be glad to kind of chronicle the things that have helped me out over the last 3 months. As far as books, people, there's just been so many things, and there's so many different resources out there to help people right now. So, and I know that there was times when I felt lost and didn't know if I could find what I was looking for to help myself. So I'm more than happy to help anyone that needs it. So, but as far as my story, or where I'm at personally right now, I'm not gonna lie, there's still a decent amount of my time, or at least mental energy, thinking about her. I've realized that as a child, I would use fantasy as an escape from the drama or the trauma or the things I didn't want to deal with, or what was going on in my life as a kid. And I still have a tendency to use fantasy to escape or distract myself. And one of the ways I do that is I will have a thought about her and then fantasize about, hey, how life would be if only things were better, or we could come to some type of if we could fix it, I could fix her, I could fix me. And I start to get on this like fantasy trip in my head about that perfect scenario, right, of what I used to dream our life would be. But I've come to realize that that's what that is. It's just fantasy. And even though it may create positive endorphins in your body, or hormones in your body, or chemicals, by going to that place or having that kind of fantasy, it's not reality. And one of the things that has really helped me is Katie Byron's work on loving what is, and realizing that a lot of what causes us pain is not accepting or seeing the truth of the situation and what's going on in the moment, right? So uh, that's helped me out a lot. And I've learned to see when I start to do that, and uh, regroup and come back to the moment, and come back to what's going on right now, and allowing myself to feel it, and then explore where that emotion is coming from, right, and be present with the emotion, and be grateful for it, because it's coming from somewhere, right? It's trying to teach me something. Accepting it and allowing it to dissipate, instead of not addressing it, not feeling it, and just burying it under other things, or keeping myself distracted with, social media or whatever it may be in the moment, right? So that's partly of, I guess, I don't really know what I was going to talk about, other than just sharing what's going on right now. And my mission with this is still really to just document my story in hopes of helping others. And I realize still that, how I have been, who I have been over the last 8 years, who we were together as a couple, had an effect on our children, and had an effect on people around us. And I know that there's other people out there struggling with these situations. I mean, I read or learned that there's like over 75% of couples struggle with codependency, resulting from some complex trauma from their childhood, right? And that's a lot. And I think they think the numbers may even be even higher than that. So that means that there's most people that in relationships are struggling with some issues, right? And other things I've learned is that you in a relationship, you may have someone that is the narcissist, but it takes a narcissist and a co-narcissist in that dynamic. So, and I've been on that spectrum, I believe, from hardcore narcissist to total empath. And I think that happens too in relationships, where sometimes maybe you go back and forth and take on different roles depending on where you're at in that cycle of love addiction and dysfunction. So one of the big things right now that's helping me is Tim Fletcher's work. So if you really want to dig into codependency and recovery, he's a great resource. Tim Fletcher, he's got videos on YouTube, and I am part of his Lift program, which is a 25-week, 3-day-a-week, intense recovery program. And it's really, really helped me out. And this isn't something, I've realized this isn't something that you can fix overnight. This is something that is a part of you, is deep within you. You've conditioned yourself through the relationship and the relationships prior to that relationship. And ever since you were a child, you've got so much going on. So you have I have a lot of work to do on myself to figure all this out. But I am determined. I am so fucking determined to get past this and become healthier, become the version of me that I know I want to be, right? I can just feel it in my gut, the person that I want to be. And I don't want the cycle that's been passed down through my family for generations to continue. of this just unhealthy individuals and unhealthy relationships, and then passing it on to unhealthy children. And we can stop this. We can end the madness. One of the things that I had to deal with was the feeling of boredom. And I remember her telling me that sometimes, like, oh, you're gonna be so bored without me. But I was addicted to the chaos. I was addicted to the freaking chaos of our life, of the extremes of pain and misery to bliss, like, and then it was just like on a constant emotional roller coaster. It felt like in our relationship at times, a lot of the time, where it was just like, there would be some type of disagreement. It would get either extreme, or I would start building my walls and 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 freezing my emotions, and to just to us coming back together and trying to fix it, and intense love bombing, and just euphoric emotions. So it was a constant, like, back and forth, and then I remember that I always felt like it was just unstable, and all I wanted was, it just like, is there a way that we can just chill and enjoy life and enjoy what we have and enjoy each other? I remember just wishing and hoping for that day where we could just, I would say I was projecting, I guess, most of the issues on her, but I realized that I have so much going on. I have so much going on. And she always would say that, I wouldn't deal with it or address it. And I thought it was her. I thought a lot of the issues were her, because she was, in my mind, she had the bigger problems, the bigger issues, because of what you could see on the outside, or what she was doing, how she was acting. But it takes two people with issues to have an unhealthy relationship, because if an unhealthy person gets with a healthy person, the relationship doesn't mature, because the healthy person sees what's going on, can detect the issues, the things underneath the surface of what the other person's doing at some point, and will bail on the relationship, right? And even if you are like me and an empath and you think you're good, and if you've done the work, you can realize that, hey, there's no way I can be the savior and try to fix this person, and recognizing the pattern that's been my life, because I've always been attracted to women with issues, and took on that role as someone who wanted to save them and make them better, and feel like, like I was important, I guess, and feel like I was helping them, when in reality, a lot of times I was making it worse, because of how I was using that to oftentimes manipulate them. So, and feel good about myself. And that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that all of this comes from, or starts with, me not being able to love myself. And I know a lot of the stuff I've been sharing, and talks about that, because that's where I'm at on my journey, is getting back to a place where I really, really love myself, and I know myself, I understand what's going on, and that's the key. I realized this last week in one of our sessions, that I have a deep fear of abandonment, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes from, is that inner fear of abandonment that I've carried for so long. And that's what kept me in an unhealthy relationship, was the feeling of, I didn't want to deal with the pain of a breakup again. I didn't want to feel with the pain of knowing that I had failed again. Here's another woman that I loved so deeply, I felt like, and wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And here I was, you know, it not working. And that's tough. That was hard for me. And God, thank God she had the strength to end it. I mean, and I'm so grateful for that, because I'm the type of guy that just hangs in for dear life no matter what. I get that from my father. It could be the most miserable situation, and I'm always the guy that's like, you know, I'm still here. We can fix it. Thank God she wasn't like that. She finally figured a way to get away from it. And that's another part of this, is that when you're in it, you can't see for what it is. You're just so wrapped up in all the drama and all the trauma and the chaos. And it was definitely a lot of chaos. I swear I'm going to write a book about our love and our addiction at some point and share it with you guys, because it's that crazy of an adventure. But I do have a core belief now that you can have fun, you can have excitement in your life with a healthy person, and you can skip a lot of the pain and the suffering. And I realize that all relationships take work, and I also feel like all relationships have a layer of dependency. But it's when it comes to the point where it's a need, like you're trying to make yourself whole through the other person. That's where it's not right, where it's not healthy. And you know, and there's such peace. There's such peace and tranquility when you can get to a place where you don't need anybody else. You don't need anybody else. You can do it. You can be content within yourself totally, and love yourself and follow your path, and not to be dependent on anybody or anything, because you are the only thing that you have 100% of the time till your last breath, right? So working on the relationship with yourself and that deeper understanding of what you're all about is really the path that's so worthy in life, right? So thanks for listening to me ramble on here. I don't know if it helped anybody, but I hope it did. If not, Caitlin and Logan and Kinsey, at least you guys can watch this at some point, and when you're older or whenever, and relate to your father and what kind of things he had going on in his life, and maybe this will help you guys at some moment in the future. But I love you all, and I love me, and I'm working on loving me to the max, and I hope that you can do the same.